This is Radically Alive Women's Edgecast.
Hello and welcome to Radically Alive Women. We're taking off Patricia Anzini and Alexandra Lopes. Welcome.
Yeah,
Hi.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I've invited you both because you're onto something really outrageously courageous, in my opinion. And that is that you set up a program to bring feelings work to a university in Portugal. And you called this program CommunicAR.TE. And I wanted to hear from you more about what you're up to and why it matters and where you're at with that. What worked, what didn't work, and why would anyone bring feelings work into university? So that's sort of the framework that I would love to explore with you and simply hear from you. How does it go to bring this bridge into an environment that is quite traditionally framed, I would say? Patricia, will you say something about that?
Yeah. So first, before going to the feelings work and how that training got into shape and how it manifested, I just want to bring the why. The why. So the why is pretty much connected to, I'm going to call it a research, not in the traditional academic way, but a research I've been doing, and now Alexandra with me as a cell, but a research that kind of touches three major points, I would say. One is what it is to be a space holder in academia, and not a teacher and not a professor, but a space holder. And then what does it take to create a regenerative culture in academia? And the third point is what it is to unlearn, not to learn in the traditional. What is it? What does learning imply? What is that in that particular context, right? And this research, I'll speak for myself now. This research comes from, so I've been connected to the university world for many years. So I want to say over 22 years. I've been in the university context in many different ways, with different roles as time went by, and on and off, doing things also on the side of academia, and also in different cultural contexts. So I'm Brazilian originally, so I did my undergrad training there, and then I went to Canada for a sort of joint master's degree, and then I did a PhD in the US, and now I'm here in Portugal, also in academia as a professor. So I've also crossed all these territories in that territory, in the academic territory. And I noticed something there, as some points are transversal. And what I want to say is transversal is pretty much academia is based on one body learn. What in possibility management, we have 5 bodies, right? So the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, the energetic, and the archetypal body. And academia is pretty much based on one body functioning space, which is the intellectual body. And I've also noticed that there's a lot of, I'm going to call it emotional desertification. I don't know if that's the right term, relating scarcity. There's a lot of patriarchy informed rules and implicit etiquette, and also the learning is very vertical. It's very based on hierarchy. A lot of fear and anger. I feel like the basic emotions is fear and anger. So a lot of competition and severe. I don't think I'm exaggerating here. Severe physical and mental body illnesses and challenges, which is kind of not that talked about, like the mental health in academia and all the emotional and affection unhealthiness of academia. So I caught myself and I get myself in a territory that to me is very dysfunctional in terms of humanity, in terms of conscious feelings, in terms of relating, in terms even of creativity. And
seems also from the perspective of the human potential, like
absolutely
functional in terms of empowering the human potential fully, if it's limited to that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not only, it hasn't been only my observations as a sort of outsider, right? I lived that as a researcher, as a student, as a participant of that ecosystem, as now a professor, as a scientific manager, as a publisher, as like, so I had all those roles as time went by, and I felt that. And I always, there's something off here. There's something off in terms of where is life? Life is not at the center here.
Yeah.
So
I get a sense that that you have something.
Yeah, and in the other hand, I'm away from academia like 20 years ago. I did my learning process in school and graduate, and then run away because it was such a different world without connections and bridges to the life, the daily basis life. And I always look for learning after that process to experiment. So my learning since then is experiment in life, going after new paradigms, new discoveries, and the last years was about biodanza, was about possibility management, that bring the opportunity to feel, to connect, and to experiment. So without you need to do it right. You need to have a checklist, and you only pass if you do everything what's there. And then I give you a paper that says you now are the people who know everything. So it's a different kind of learning, is unlearning and feeling what is value and what can I bring of value. So in the opposite, Patricia was inside, I was running away this last years. And it is about this, the academia is an ecosystem of so many seeds and it's not about only information, but to discover seeds of all kinds of disciplines in life. But when we are living in the land, we don't dissociate what is the field, what is the trees, what is the connection between people. So this is a travel, what is our daily real basis life, and what is strategy of learning.
yeah. Thanks, Alexandra. Thanks for adding that. That was also very important in my journey as well. So I was coming from a content, so learning as me now as a participant, from a content-based learning to a life-based learning, to an experiment-based learning. And many languages. I got in contact with many research fields and languages and game worlds, like possibility management was one of them, biodance as well. The theory U was also a big one in my journey. and also the Ubuntu philosophy. So all of them kind of open the space, they open the space for living, for learning, for experimenting, for expressing, creating spaces that allow another kind of relation, another kind of experience, another kind of life, serving of life connection. So all of that happened as I was getting conscious of that dysfunctional ecosystem that I referred to. And then Alexandra.
Yeah, this training, CommunicAR.TE, starts in a time frame that was a particular time frame where me and Patricia were in a training from possibility management called Heal from School.
Will you say more about that? What is this context of heal from school?
Yeah. It brought what was the pain to be in school, and what is the virtue to be in school? What is school? What is the definition of the school I want to create right now in this world? It's about relating, it's about learning by experiment, it's about collaboration. So in the first layer, this training brought the conscious, how was school for me, and what that brings for me, the empowerment with certain rules, and if that rules is important now.
So that ignited something in you, that when you were in the Heal from School lab, that you realized, okay, I want to create something different, and you were both there.
Yes.
And then you created something different, obviously, and you're here to tell the tales of that.
Yeah, in terms of time. Yeah. So in terms of timing, just to contextualize, the CommunicAR.TE was an invitation. And after I got back from the lab, I changed the whole program, of course, and included, it was a more possibility management based after the.
Will you say more about what that means? Because people might not even know what possibility management is. What does it mean to have it based on that?
Yeah, so thank you. So the training before was more related to communication aspects, and more based on intellectual, verbal interactions. So people would just gather and practice use a few tools for communicating in a more sustainable way. And it was pretty much based on conflict resolution. So something happens that triggers whatever disruption. So we would use particular tools to communicate that situation. So feedback, for instance, was a big chunk of the training. And after doing the healing from school, I decided, because Alexandra, this is important to mention, Alexandra at that time was not yet part of the whole design. So for the first edition of this training, the whole design and whole program was created just by me. Alexandra got she joined just before the training started to be delivered. So after this lab, I included So I transformed the program, and it was based on possibility management. Possibility management has works with maps. Would be the methodology in other languages. PM offers maps to operate with. So I selected a few particular maps that were related, yes, to communication, but also we brought in certain maps, and I'm thinking about the low drama, the triangle map, the gremlin. We brought in the gremlin, the shadow. We talked about the shadow, and we also brought in the feelings, the four feelings map. And centering.
When you say something for feelings?
Yeah, so PM offers a map that is called the four feelings. So basically, to simplify, the possibility management says that there are four basic feelings, which is anger, fear, sadness, and joy. And we basically operate based on those four feelings, right? So it's a simplification. To me, it works as a wonderful simplification of the feelings. So we brought in that, and we talked.
And I want to add that the feelings and the emotions are different states. When we use anger like a reactive answer, it's about a story that we had in the past, that the emotion was there and not unsolved and not seen and not delivering incomplete. So the way we connect to people is act or react, is using the energy of the information of anger, fear, sadness, or joy, or is using that energy of emotions to cause reaction and drama. Yeah. So when we communicate in any relationship, is to note and to be conscious how we can communicate with clear feelings. Yeah.
Thank you. So you brought these distinctions into the training where humans interact with each other in a university environment. The distinction of feelings is only four, and then also there are emotions that one can mistake for feelings, and then the myth that it creates of low drama when people interact with each other using their emotions.
Yeah,
exactly.
And most of all, more than maps, is pass this information not only in a verbal way, but in an experimental way. So this was kind of new to some people, to be seated in a circle without chairs and tables is one of the steps of being in connection. And we are in the same round area.
No hierarchy, sitting circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So besides verbal communication training, we brought in distinctions and topics such as relating, intimacy, with feelings and emotions that we've already talked, the 5-body distinction that I've also mentioned. So we also worked a lot with the physical, so there were movements, there were the emotions with the emotional body. We also brought in the emotional body, the energetic body as well. So fear was present for, reading and sensing the field when I'm communicating, and sensing the other, and sensing the space, and the ability to read the space, to listen to the space. We also brought that in. experiments. Alexandra already mentioned experiments, so experimental learning instead of only content-based learning. What else, Alexandra, that I'm missing?
Radical honesty.
Yeah.
So, and the experiment of appreciation. What is appreciation? Yeah.
Well, which goes back to intimacy and relating. Yeah, the being, of course, seeing the being. Yeah, so to summarize, from a more verbal reality, content-based intellectual body training, we transformed it into a more experimental, relating, responsibility-based training.
Yeah. And one of the difference was when Patricia asked me to enter. This is also a different way of working in the academic, because we work as a team, as a cell. We were space holders of that circle, not teachers, not. So that was a different way of being in the university with two persons delivering the training.
Two persons, and the collaboration seems to be different. Will you say something about, well, one, maybe start first with the teacher versus space holders. What is the difference?
Yeah, one of the difference for me is when I'm space holder, I give the space for others being space holders too, and responsibility to act and to be in the space, and not like old style teacher that expect that from me coming the information and the other people only receive. So, and space holder in the terms of being aware what is in the field happen. For example, we had each session we have check-ins, and check-ins brings information how the humans that are there feeling, and what is the next step. And the priority is not bringing concepts. The priority is the space, what the people in the space is necessary for that people, what is necessary. Yeah, learning to feel and bring possibilities for the space.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm just adding, not the professor as the holder, of the source of information, authority, and power. So moving from that, and also projection, right? Because Alexandra already mentioned, we changed the shape of the classroom we were in. So also not having a person at the front being looked at and being talked to. So also in terms of physical body positioning, also changing that perspective. So from all of that to a system, there's a cell, there's a group of evolution, and there is one person that provides the space for evolution to happen, and that guides in a way that uses fear consciously, so is consciously aware of what is happening in that container, in that cell, to bring possibilities of evolution. So it's a radical shift. I feel it's a radical shift in terms of everything, in terms of power, in terms of responsibility, possibilities, learning, unlearning, content, body, interaction, intimacy, relating. It changes everything. And that's why I also feel CommunicAR.TE is in itself like an evolutionary step into that particular territory.
And I would add an R at the beginning. It's like a revolutionary. R evolutionary, because it seems like you could say, well, it's not a big deal, just change the structure in the classroom, but like it comes on light feet and it's huge. It's a really big shift, as you say. It's a radical shift that could bring life back, or brings life back into a living organism of living human beings.
Yeah, so we are basically, I want to say there's a prototyping a relating culture in academia, an academic culture that takes life at the center, takes relating intimacy, a more integral, regenerative perspective, space, and responsibility. So I feel that's what we're trying to do and that we're doing. So going back, this first edition happened, and the edition was offered to the postdoc fellows and also to the whole doctoral community of the Catolica University. So anyone who is doing a PhD can also join the training. And it worked. We got wonderful feedback from all the parties. And we went for a second edition, and now the training is mandatory, is in the official curriculum of the postdoc fellows. And it's optional, still optional for any PhD student who wants to join. So a second edition happened this year. Now with this time, it was a 6-week training, weekly meetings, 3-hour meeting, each meeting. And again, mandatory for postdoc fellows and optional for PhDs of that university.
So you're going to run this again? Is it like going every semester or every trimester or every year?
Every year.
And is that something that you would also be offering to other institutions if they wanted to benefit from your learnings?
Yeah, we're willing to offer the training. We're willing to talk about our experiences with the training, our challenges, the legends, the goals, the feedbacks. We are willing to open the space for dialogue, for people to join us in the creation of more spaces like that in academia. So we're completely open to co-create, to talk about, to facilitate, to open space for any kind of emergence or manifestation concerning this topic of relating and conscious feeling in academia.
Thank you. I'm glad you do that. I'm glad you're going first. And I want to add that what I'm picking up is that it's more than just relating. It's really this collaboration happening. Yeah, for real human collaboration to happen where more than the sum of the people becomes possible because something bigger can come through. And I get it. It's like regeneration is really necessary for life on this planet to stand a chance. I have a question also, like would you give, like, if people are listening and they have they're in a university environment or in some sort of organization environment, what is one experiment you could give them that they could try out in their environment straight away? Do you have something that you could offer?
Yeah, check in.
Check in with what? Like, what does that even mean? Check in.
Check in is when people come together, the first minutes is a space of active listening. So one people at each time tell and bring what is alive in her. And the check-in is the moment of the transition where I come from and now I arrive in this space. And sometimes that moment happens, but is talking about the weather or football or whatever. And our proposal that come from possibility management, the check-in is about how I arrive here in this space. How I arrive here. Yeah. And to be open and connect to the next time. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to refer to check-in as well. It's just a simple thing to do. It doesn't take long. So whenever, before you start a space, just put people in circles or just go outside and be in a circle for 10 minutes and then look at each other and one person at a time say how I'm feeling right now. What is alive in me right now? And the others listen. Give the space for listening.
So nothing to fix, simply listening to each other and being with each other.
Exactly.
As humans.
That's a very simple practice that opens huge space for that connection, collaboration, for humanity, for the ability to be.
Yeah, I have a question to that because I remember I was working in a company years ago and I brought this after my first few possibility management trainings and said, let's do a check-in here in our legal department. And immediately it was like, but this takes too long. And then all this can of worms gets opened up. So from your experience, what would you say to people that have these concerns, which are legitimate concerns if you don't know how this goes? What about this time constraint or this time pressure that many organizations are under?
Yeah, I have to say that it feels like it's a waste of time. That, we spend like 10 minutes talking about what? But in the other hand, is the time that if I bring me to the space, if the people around are in that check-in, they come with the presence. And then really being there to listen what will happen in that meeting. For example, if I'm worried about my child that is sick, but I don't say about that. I'm in this meeting, but I'm thinking about, this is the end, and I need to buy some medical and na. And if I say in the beginning, I come here and I'm worried about my kid. Okay, I said it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can be here. This is one example.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for adding that. It makes it tangible and really the relevance of actually being humans together first, and then anything else can be much more efficient in terms of we can actually be really here and present, and that's what I hear you're bringing.
Yeah, something else that I want to add as an offer based on what we've been experimenting with, it's simply just be in a circle. Just
changing the physicality and coming to sit in circle.
Like you don't even have to do a check-in or anything. Just be in a circle. That's it. Just start with that, which is something that has been happening for decades now in particular contexts. But in other ones, it creates such vulnerability that people have a lot of resistance to be in. It's just one way to start. So people, there are no tables hiding my affection center. There are no tables hiding my full integral body to look at another one. So just start with that. I would say.
Thank you. This is where I think we're entering already the territory of magic, really. Simple as that. Thank you both for bringing magic into universities.
Thank you, Julia.
Imagine that you could become so radically alive that you would create not only the life that you love, but also the culture that comes through you, that your being is designed to create. This is what this Edgecast is about. This is what this Edgecast aims to inspire in you as you listen to this right now. And this could be a daunting thing. And daunting is not a problem. Daunting simply means it's new, it's scary, and why not do it anyway? This is where evolution lies. Evolution is there where the fear is. So we're inviting you to join us on this journey and make it your own. You can do this by, keep diving into these free episodes, the episodes that we're gifting from a place of abundance and necessity. And you can also become a member, benefiting from some special content that we upload in the membership area. But really, the membership portal is for you to take more responsibility so that we can keep creating this content. And if you were willing to step even closer into the circle, you could join our in-person live offerings online. There are many transformative workshops and trainings that are on offer from various radically alive women across the globe. And you can find all of our offerings on our website, radicallyalivewomen.com. This Edgecast is brought to you by Radically Alive Women, a team of women consisting currently of Julia Neumann, Millicent Hoey, Annika Korsten, and Hannah Abuzara. See you soon.